Is my voice is clear to all of you guys? Please confirm to me. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice on the screen. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you are getting my voice on the screen. Right, sir. Here, what we understood there in the last session, I think so. We have completed like what there. Primary key generation algorithms here we are discussing there. Inside these primary key generation algorithms, what we completed there, XML configurations here we completed. Next we started with like what there, annotation support for primary key generation algorithms here we understood annotations. Okay. Right, sir. Out of all these things, what we completed there, I think so. We have seen table, we have seen. Then after that, increment we have seen, identity we have seen, right? Finally, here then only one thing is remaining here. That is what there. Auto is remaining here. Okay, guys. Now I'm asking there: is this auto is completed or not? Or we have to discuss about this auto? What is going to be happen here? No, is auto is completed or not completed? Yes, auto is completed or not completed? Tell me, guys. If you see my program there I can identify this. This is not required. Table generated here we completed there, but auto is not completed. Now let us check this auto. If you're using Oracle database, then it will take like what there sequence type. No, then if you take MySQL database there it will take like what there identity. It's almost the same as like what there native. Okay, now let me check this. Then how we are going to provide this? First of all, here we have to provide. I want to use Oracle, right? So now here we have to use sequence generator of inside the sequence generator name. Here we have to provide name is equal to sequence comma parameter sequence name. Sequence name is equal to, I think so, it's already existed here, my underscore sequence. If it is not available, then I'll create it. No need to worry for it. Okay. Then after this sequence generator, now get generated value here we have to use. Insert the generated value strategy is equal to generation type dot auto comma What next one here now? After completion of this, here we have to use generator is equal to sequogen that we have to provide. Remaining quantities as usual that we have to provide there. Generation type dot auto. Here we have to provide. Now here I'm going to use Oracle database to check with whether it is Oracle or not. Then here we have to check this Oracle database here we are using there. If you're not providing any particular sequence type, no, then hibernate underscore sequence it will check. Right. So now in app.java, what we are able to get. Let me open my Oracle database now. SQL plus. Now get what we are able to provide there. Right. So now system slash Durga. What is the table name here we provided there? Right. So now let me EMP1 select star from. Right. So now delete from EMP1 commit operation. Right, sir. Inserted. Now understand this clearly. My sequence is existed here. Now by default it has taken from what there sequence algorithm. That's okay, fine. Next one is I want to go with what there MySQL database. Let me comment this. Auto increment option is required for the MySQL database. Root password and use DurgaDB. No, it doesn't have any auto increment here. Or else maybe I'll go for like what description EMP10. Auto increment. EMP10 has auto increment, same thing, right? Now what I will do there. EMP10 I will use. Right, so now before that. Select a star from empty set we are getting. EMP10 I want to ask there. Some records are available. Commit. Let me execute this program. Right, sir. Inserting the data. Now it's okay. Now it's available. Now it was inserted there clearly. Okay. Right. So now this is totally the concept related to like over there. Okay, right. This is the total awareness here we can understand about like what there primary key generation algorithm. Okay, in MySQL database also we can check that their data is available, record is available. Okay, fine. Guys, now this totally primary key generation algorithms are completed. I think so. Few more algorithms are available, sir. Few more things are existed there. What few more annotations are available? Yesterday has given annotation support for four maximum, right, sir? So maybe other remaining things are also existed here. Like what are the things? No, increment is available. Apart from this increment, like any like different things whatever it may be, it is not required here, then no need to go for that. Other examples also maximum one or two are remaining there, then they might be provided by hibernate internally, but it is not required for us. Max here we understood like what there primary key generation algorithms in both XML configurations and as well as like what there annotation configurations, and both here we are able to utilize clearly. That's it, guys. Now this is exactly the meaning of like what there primary key generation algorithms. Yes, sir. Complete it. Now, this is the meaning of like what their primary key generation algorithms. Next one is after that. Another topic in hibernate here. We are going to start like what there after completion of this. Next one is transaction management. Transaction management. Guys, now tell me. I'm asking one question to all of you. Now tell me, what is transaction? What is transaction? What is the meaning of transaction, guys? Any idea? Any response? What is transaction? Transaction is an unit of work performed by front-end application. Transaction is an unit of work performed by front-end application, okay, on a back-end system. That's a transaction is an unit of work performed by front-end application on back-end system. Any example for these transactions? No, so many examples are available. Okay, right, sir. In bank applications, number of things are existed here. In bank applications, number one, deposit some amount in our account. Deposit some amount in our account. Okay, withdraw some amount from account. Withdraw some amount from account. Then transfer some amounts from one account to another account. Another account. Like this here, we're having number of things. That's okay, fine. This is what exactly the meaning of like what there a transaction. Okay. Next one is like what I'm telling to you. In a database related applications, every transaction must follow the following asset properties. What are the various asset properties here? In general, we are able to identify this. In a database related applications, every transaction must follow the following asset properties. What are these asset properties here? What we are able to have these asset properties? What exactly their meaning now? Asset. What this A actually what their atomicity. This is what their atomicity, and the next one is C consistency, I isolation, D stands for like what their durability. That's it. Then here I want to ask a question there. Then what is the atomicity property? What's the meaning of this atomicity property? Atomicity property in the sense, observe carefully. In general, in the transactions, we perform more number of operations. In a single transaction, we are able to have like what there more than one transaction. Okay. Then here atomicity says that either to perform all the operations or to perform none of the operations. That's it. Either to perform all the operations or to perform none of the operations. That's exactly called as like what their atomicity property. That means another point here I'm telling there. In case of atomicity property, every transaction should be either in success state or in failure state. Every transaction should be either in success state or in failure state. That is the point here we have to understand. And an example here I'm telling there. In transfer funds transaction, we have to perform debit operation at sender side and credit operation at receiver side. Okay. Now again, in this case, atomicity states that either to perform both debit and credit or not to perform. both debit okay. Right, so now this is what exactly the meaning of like what there the examples. In a transfer funds transaction, we have to perform debit operation at sender side and a credit operation at receiver's side. In this case, atomicity states that either to perform both the debit and credit or not to perform both debit and credit. This is clearly the meaning of like what there atomicity property here. Right, sir. Then after that, second one is like what their consistency. I'll take some examples. Practically, I'm able to show that transaction. That means that a transfer transaction here we are able to see by connecting with the multiple databases. No, there I'm able to give some clarity. Okay, what is the meaning of this consistency, guys? This exactly. This is like what I'm telling to you. Consistency. The point is like what their consistency. What exactly the meaning of consistency? No. What do you think about this consistency? That's it. In a transactions, consistency says that before a transaction and after transaction, database must be stable. Database must be stable before transaction and after transaction. Database may be stable. 1 minute, guys. Just give a minute of time. Right, sir. Now observe carefully. Here, what we understand there now, consistency in transactions. Consistency says that before transaction and after transaction, database must be stable. Right, sir. Now here, for example, I'll take one example for consistency checkup. Now try to understand it now. Consider an example, guys. All of you observe carefully. Consider an example. In this example here, what I am telling to you, listen carefully, guys. In this example, In this example, what I am telling to you. Right, sir. Now the point is like what there. For example is what there. Initially in my account, 10,000 existed, and we deposited 5,000 in my account. Where what is this consistency checkup actually? In this case, what is this consistency checkup? No, where consistency checkup will be provided manually like below. That's it. What is this consistency checkup manually? Right, so now observe carefully. Before transaction, in account, how much amount is available here? 10,000. In myself, user, how much amount he had there about this user now? 5,000. Overall, total addition is what there? 15,000. This is before transaction. Similarly, after transaction, what we are getting there? After transaction, how much amount is available in the account now? After transaction, maybe 15,000 is existed. User 0. User 0. Why? Because already deposited. The required amount is deposited. Total 15,000. Now the data is tallied. Before transaction and after transaction, the data is what there tallied. So here we can understand clearly. This is what their consistency checkup. This is exactly like what their consistency checkup. Everybody understand this clearly. This is exactly like what their consistency checkup. For example, if the data is wrong, data is different. Data is not coming. Data is different. There, data inconsistency is available. Okay. Right, sir. This is the meaning of like what their consistency. Okay, fine. Next one is what is this isolation? What you are understanding about this isolation here? Now let me give conclusion for this. No, here the total sum is the same before transaction and after transaction. So database is unstable. Okay. Next one is what? Then after that, after completion of this, now isolation. What is the meaning of this isolation, guys? Not here. What is this isolation? What you are thinking about isolation? If you think about this isolation, no, it's very clear. First of all, understand this concurrent transactions. If we execute more than one transaction, if we execute more than one transaction on the same data item, if we execute more than one transaction on the same data item, at a time, then that transaction, is called concurrent transaction. Concurrent transaction. Okay. All right, sir. Now observe carefully. Concurrent transactions. Next one is in a transactions concurrency. Right. So now in a transactions concurrency, one transaction execution may give effect to another transaction execution. In a transactions concurrency, one transaction execution may give effect to another transaction execution. Okay. Right, sir. Here isolation says that that one transaction execution could not give effect to another transaction execution. This is the meaning of like what their isolation. One transaction execution should not give effect to another transaction execution. This is called as like what their isolation. Right. Then what next one here? Durability. Durability is very simple. Understand it clearly. After committing the transaction, after performing the transaction, maybe after succeeded, after the transaction success, if you have any problems, if you have any catastrophic failures, like what their operating system failure, like what the next one is the network failure, maybe power failure, all these things are come under like what are the catastrophic failures. If you have any catastrophic failures while performing the transaction, or maybe after performing the transaction, then when we re-get the system after completion of this one, whenever we are getting that errors, no, some number of errors, then whenever we got, that means whenever we are getting that catastrophic failures, no, then after that when we re-get the system, the modifications which you have done during the transaction must be preserved. What are the updations we have done during the transaction success state, no, all these updations must be preserved, all these updations must be existed. Now this nature is nothing but like what their durability. Okay, this nature is what their durability. Observe carefully. What is the meaning of this one? After committing the transaction, if we perform any, if we get any catastrophic failures like power failure, waves crashing, and so on, after regetting the system, all the modifications which we have done during the transactions must be preserved. This is what exactly the meaning of like what their durability. This is the meaning of like what their durability. Right, guys? All of you observe this clearly. What exactly the meaning of acid properties now? First of all, I given a definition for what is like what I'm telling you. What is transaction? Basic definition I've given, sir. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Right, sir. So transaction is a unit of work performed by front-end application and back-end system. In bank applications, deposit some amount in our account, withdraw some amount from account, transfer some amount from one account to another account. All these are like what they transactions. In a database related applications, every transaction must follow the ACID properties. What are the various ACID properties? You know, ACID A, C, ID, atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. What is the meaning of atomicity property? You know, in general, in a transactions, we may perform more number of operations. Here, either to perform all the operations or to perform none of the operations. That is called as what the transactions atomicity. Every transaction should be in either success rate or failure state. Okay. Next one is after that. Now, what is this consistency actually? Before the transaction and after the transaction, the database must be stable. Where explicitly we are going to perform some operations to check like what there, to check like what there consistency. Okay. Then before the transaction, after the transaction, right, sir. The database table must be what there stable. Next one is after that. Manually we can do the consistency, no programmatic. If we execute more than one transaction on the same data item at a time, then the transactions are called as concurrent transactions. Okay. In the case of this concurrent transaction, one transaction execution may affect another transaction execution where we are able to get wrong results. But here what isolation principle says that in the transactions concurrency, one transaction execution should not be provided to other transaction execution. Okay. Right, guys. Now this is what exactly the meaning of like what are the transactions. Okay. Right. Next one is like what there. How we are able to achieve atomicity property in a hibernate applications. How to achieve atomicity property in hibernate applications. Now this topic we are going to understand like what there on tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow I'll discuss about like what there this topic there. Tomorrow I will finish this topic. Then after that and tomorrow I will start like what there some other topic. Yeah, that's all guys. That's all guys. That's all for today. Then tomorrow we'll continue. Tomorrow we'll see somewhat more information there. Some examples I'm able to show on the base of transactions. Thank you. Thanks a lot.